I left early. I swear to you, I've never seen the stuff that they claim. I've never seen any.
He's always been outspoken, particularly when addressing the entertainment industry's most controversial figures.
Diddy Combs is expected to return to court. The music mogul is facing federal charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. Combs has been in a New York City jail since last month when his request for bond was denied twice. ABC News legal contributor, trial attorney Brian Buckmeyer joins me now for more on this. Brian, what can we expect to happen in court?
So Dan and Core were expecting the parties with their new attorneys to be there to make the arguments not only that Sean Combs should be released, arguing that the bail was denied inappropriately in the past, but also just a scheduling of the case. They're looking to move forward in this case by saying what evidence the defense is likely to receive, what, if any, motions should be filed in the coming days. It's basically an opportunity for both parties to kind of get the ball rolling towards an inevitable trial.
Brian, Combs also hired a new defense attorney. What more do you know about him?
Yeah, so Anthony, or Tony Rico, as many people know him, is kind of like the godfather of federal defense, both in terms of his death penalty work. I think he's done over 50 death penalty cases across the country, as well as being well known as a Harlem native and working in the Southern District of New York. To give you some context, I'll say this. I probably would say that I'm a fairly decent defense attorney. I have a pretty decent record when it comes to trials and whatnot. The people that I look up to as being great defense attorneys, they look up to Tony Rico as being great themselves. And so he's at a different level, I think, when it comes to defense. I'm not saying that just because he's on the team, Sean Combs is going to be found not guilty, but this is probably one of the strongest people to be able to defend him in a case like this.
And Brian, last week a Texas attorney said he's representing 120 alleged victims, both men and women, who claim Combs sexually assaulted them. So how could these lawsuits impact the criminal case?
So Tony Busby, the attorney you were talking about, brought those cases, and he said that I think over 3,000 people had reached out to him, but he's only representing 120. He himself says that a number of those cases need to be vetted. So I think what we're going to see is those claims get vetted. We'll see what is strong, what is not, and what is not a claim in of itself altogether. But if those sources, if those alleged victims do have strong corroborating information or new facts, we could potentially see more witnesses in a federal case, other federal cases across the country, as Tony Busby says, that these claims come out of Georgia and Florida and other states. But we can also see potentially a superseding indictment where there'd be more charges and more alleged victims in the Sean Combs case out of the Southern District of New York.
When someone like Diddy Combs is in the spotlight, Katt can't help but jump in. Recently, a clip of Williams roasting Diddy has gone viral, spreading like wildfire on social media. In the video, he takes bold jabs at Diddy's recent legal issues and what was uncovered during the federal raids on his Miami and La homes.
Enforcement sources are telling ABC News that right now authorities are carrying out searches at properties associated with P. Diddy. This is all part of a federal investigation into human trafficking. They also say that this investigation has been ongoing now for several months. They add, our sources, that an arrest does not appear to be imminent at this time, but what you are looking at right now is live video of one of these searches being conducted. Now, this is a search that is happening at Sean Diddy Combs' Los Angeles home. This is in the Beverly Hills area, so you can see a tremendous amount of law enforcement present there all around that home. So this search just began here. There's also, as we understand, another search being conducted on the other side of the country in Miami, because we are hearing from Homeland Security that there are investigations going on using the assistance of HSI Los Angeles and HSI Miami, along with local law enforcement partners. We do understand that they will provide us with updates as possible, but this goes into multiple allegations against Sean Diddy Combs over the years. There's been several civil suits against him as well, including human trafficking, all of which he has denied as this has been ongoing. But again, clearly an escalation that we are seeing play out live right now in Los Angeles. I want to bring in our ABC News contributor and trial attorney, Brian Buckmeyer, who I know, Brian, you have been following this case for many months, and you bring it up to me all the time. And now I wouldn't call this the culmination. In fact, probably this is just the beginning, right? So what do you make of the fact that they've decided to carry out these two searches simultaneously and on other sides of the country here?
So, Kayla, you're right. I've been talking to us about this for too long. But what does it get you? What does a person...
Now, we all know Diddy has had his fair share of controversies, but this one takes things to a whole new level.
Ability to search a home, probable cause. So what I'm doing is I'm looking backwards. How could a judge grant the ability to search these two homes, and why would you do it simultaneously? Probable cause being the belief, or at least having the quantity of information that a crime either did happen, is happening, or is going to happen. That's how law enforcement must have to prove to a judge or a court why they have the opportunity or the legal ability to search someone's home. Now, why would you do it in conjunction from one property and another at the same time? Law enforcement typically does this because they are worried that information or property or evidence may be hidden away or destroyed while you're searching one property. And so they're looking for something to corroborate the belief that they have that a crime did occur. And as you pointed out earlier, he's facing multiple allegations of sex trafficking. So perhaps that is a crime in which they're investigating. Perhaps that is what they're trying to seek more information from. But in order to search a home, you have to have probable cause. The only question is, probable cause of what?
Probable cause. And so, Brian, as you look at this and you watch this, and we'll shout if we see any more movement on these screens, but it is important to note, right, that this is all being run out of the Southern District of New York here. So there is a tremendous amount of coordination happening within law enforcement at the highest levels.
Absolutely. And the reason why I believe it's being coordinated out of the SDNY, or the Southern District of New York, which encompasses, for the most part, Manhattan, is a lot of the civil allegations stem from there, whether it be Cassie or the other 4 allegations or civil lawsuits that stemmed from it afterwards. And so what it appears to be, at least if you're thinking this is connected to the civil lawsuits, are that the SDNY is coordinating with the other agencies in Miami as well as Los Angeles to search the properties of Sean Combs to see if there's any evidence of that. Now, I can't think of anything off the top.
We all know Diddy has faced his share of controversies, but this one escalates things to an entirely new level.
Alleges Mayor Adams engaged in a long-running conspiracy in which he solicited and knowingly accepted illegal campaign contributions from foreign donors and corporations. As we allege, Mayor Adams took these contributions even though he knew they were illegal, and even though he knew these contributions were attempts by a Turkish government official and Turkish businessmen to buy influence with him. We also allege that the mayor sought and accepted well over $100,000 in luxury travel benefits from some of the same foreign actors who arranged many of the illegal campaign contributions. These benefits included free international business class flights and opulent hotel rooms in foreign cities. The mayor had a duty to disclose these gifts on his annual public disclosure forms so that the public could see who was giving him what. But as we allege, year after year after year, he kept the public in the dark. He told the public he received no gifts, even though he was secretly being showered with them. We allege that Adams accepted these benefits knowing that they were given to him because of his position. And in exchange for some of those improper benefits, he intervened in the New York City Fire Department's inspection process for a building owned and operated by the Turkish government, allowing it to open even though it had not passed the fire inspection. The corruption alleged in the indictment is, as I said, long-running. As we allege in the indictment, Adams' solicitation of illegal campaign contributions began in 2018. After he started raising funds for his 2021 mayoral campaign, he agreed to take contributions offered by multiple Turkish businessmen, several of whom he met in Turkey. Adams knew that these wealthy individuals could not legally donate in a U.S. election. Federal law clearly prohibits foreign donations. That's how we protect our elections from foreign influence. Get Adams direct.
We're talking racketeering, conspiracy, and even Yule traffic seeking charges. And of course, Katt Williams saw this as prime material for his comedic genius.
As Sean Diddy Combs sits behind bars awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking and racketeering charges, we take a deep dive into the growing list of high-profile celebrities charged with sexual misconduct. We start with Harvey Weinstein. In April, the New York Court of Appeals overturned Weinstein's 2020 rape and sexual assault conviction and ordered a new trial. A retrial is set for November. Weinstein maintains his innocence and that all sexual encounters were consensual.
Harvey Weinstein, once a Hollywood powerhouse,
was accused by some 80 women, including Ashley Judd, of sexual assault and prosecuted in New York and California. He was acquitted of a 2010 sexual battery allegation, but a mistrial was declared for 2 other accusers. In 2020, he was convicted of rape and sexual assault, though New York's highest court later overturned his 23-year sentence.
This today is an act of institutional betrayal.
His defense attorney, Arthur Idala.
So the Court of Appeals deserves a tremendous amount of credit for doing this, based on the law, not based on opinion polls.
Weinstein's legal troubles were far from over. In 2022, he was convicted of rape and assault in Los Angeles and recently indicted on new charges in New York, where he remains behind bars. Weinstein maintains all sexual encounters were consensual.
I believe I can fly.
R&B singer R. Kelly was sentenced in federal court in New York and Chicago for sexually abusing underage girls and recording it. In New York, the I Believe I Can Fly singer was sentenced to 30 years on sex trafficking and racketeering charges, followed by a 20-year sentence for child pornography and enticement charges in Chicago. The 2 men who once teamed up for the hit song Satisfy You now face similar accusations. Like Kelly, Diddy is being held on sex trafficking and racketeering charges. Diddy is being held in the same jail as Kelly once was. Brooklyn's troubled metropolitan.
Following Diddy's arrest, the Southern District of New York unveiled a 14-page indictment that sent shockwaves through the industry.
Center. Unlike Kelly, Diddy is also charged with transporting individuals for prostitution.
Combs abused, threatened, and coerced victims to fulfill his sexual desires,
reportedly drugging his victims for compliance. Prosecutors report Diddy held private freak-offs where victims were drugged, beaten, and forced to participate while he recorded and masturbated. Diddy's attorney.
He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers, and I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs.
Diddy faces more than 130 lawsuits, mostly by Houston attorney Tony Busby.
Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old.
Now, Diddy is expected to appear in a federal courthouse tomorrow on racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution charges. His attorney says he maintains his innocence and is eager to prove his case. Houston attorney Tony Busby, who represents more than 120 accused victims, says he plans to start filing lawsuits this week against Diddy and the music mogul's cohorts. Now, meanwhile, the Supreme Court declined R. Kelly's appeal on Monday, which means the singer will remain behind bars.
Long little battle ahead for Diddy. We'll see what happens.
The indictment includes charges of racketeering conspiracy and even some serious QUTRASC King allegations, which Katt Williams couldn't resist turning into prime material for his comedic brilliance.
Tonight, Sean Diddy Combs behind bars. A federal judge denying the music mogul bail following his arrest and indictment, as federal prosecutors allege Combs is dangerous and poses an ongoing threat to the safety of the community. In court today, Combs pleading not guilty to 3 federal counts: sex trafficking, racketeering, and transportation to engage in prostitution.
Sean Combs led and participated in criminal activity, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and the obstruction of justice.
In an indictment unsealed this morning, federal prosecutors say since 2008, Combs abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct.
As alleged, when Combs didn't get his way, he was violent, and he subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse.
Combs' arrest at a New York City hotel Monday night comes 6 months after federal authorities raided the Grammy winners' homes in Los Angeles and Miami. Today revealing what they say they found: firearms, including 3 defaced AR-15s in his bedroom closet, and videos of elaborately produced sex performances with multiple victims, known as freak-offs, according to prosecutors.
Freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time, involved multiple commercial sex workers, and often involved a variety of narcotics, such as ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which Combs distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant.
an attorney for Combs maintaining his client's innocence.
Mr. Combs is a fighter. He's going to fight this to the end. He's innocent.
Today's federal case following a string of civil suits, including one filed last week by a member of the girl group Diddy Kane, as well as a settlement with singer Cassie, seen in this 2016 surveillance video being physically attacked by Combs. Cassie later filing a civil suit accusing Combs of raping and physically abusing her. The terms of their 2023 settlement were not disclosed. An attorney for Combs telling a judge today that Mr. Combs is not a perfect person. These toxic relationships were mutual, adding, "Is it sex trafficking if everyone wants to be there? We don't want the federal government in our bedroom." But tonight, federal prosecutors are leaving the door open for even more arrests, saying Combs did not act alone.
I'm not taking anything off the table.
So, what did the feds discover during their raids on Diddy's homes? In addition to the typical stash of drugs and firearms, there was one particular item that grabbed everyone's attention.
The case against Sean Combs might as well just be called the freak-offs. These allegedly illegal freak-offs. It's all about the freak-offs in one way, shape, or form.
Freak-offs?
Freak-offs.
Freak-offs. Freak-offs.
The freak-offs sometimes lasted days at a time.
Prosecutors say that these were elaborately produced events, bringing lighting in, cameras, linens.
Prosecutors said he would masturbate during these freak-offs, and women had no choice.
Alleged drug-fueled orgies, prostitution, and a cover-up. Freak-offs, as they're called, at the core of a searing 3-count federal indictment against Sean Diddy Combs.
Sex trafficking, racketeering conspiracy, interstate transportation for prostitution.
Now a look at the charges that threatened to end his career and his freedom. Inside the fall from grace from the powerful impresario, a reckoning that some say is long overdue.
He says, "Oh, I'm hip-hop." Yeah, well, you know what? Hip-hop deserves better.
During bi-coastal raids on his homes in LA and Miami, authorities say they seized various freak-off supplies, including drugs, and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant.
Federal prosecutors said Sean Combs did not act alone. He had assistants, managers, security staff who would make sure that women and male prostitutes were at these freak-offs, that the hotel rooms where they were staged were stocked with supplies like baby oil and lubricant.
For decades, Diddy reigned as one of the titans of music.
Keep banging.
A kingmaker who launched the careers of Biggie Smalls.
Throw your hands in the air if you're a true player.
Many now asking how the man who allegedly behaved so abusively was able to do it so often and for so long.
The culture of silence was colossal. You know, it really protected Sean for a number of years.
These people think that they're so powerful that was never going to catch up with them.
Just this week, a new accuser coming forward, alleging in a civil lawsuit Diddy raped her at his recording studio.
The internal pain after being sexually assaulted has been incredibly deep and hard to put into words.
The latest filed by Talia Graves, who says in her lawsuit that in 2001, she was, quote, bound and restrained while Diddy mercilessly raped her. She alleges he, quote, video raped.
They found approximately 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. Yes, you heard correctly, not 5 or 10, but a staggering 1,000. Just let that sink in for a moment.
The same nobody that shot Tupac. And if nobody shot Tupac, it's the same nobody that shot MLK. It's a lot of nobodies out there, and nobody minds if nobody comes up missing, right? That don't bother nobody, does it? Certainly doesn't bother me. So, shout outs to the nobodies. The police said they arrested the shooters, then said they didn't arrest the shooters. But I was there.
Did Suge do anything to provoke this, or?
Nobody in the world has ever provoked themselves being shot.
That's true.
If you're an idiot, you can believe this was about Suge Knight.
What about the reports that this was gang-related, that these were two gang members that thought they did it in spite of Tupac?
If it was gang-related, then why didn't it happen thoroughly? You're saying it was gang-related, so that means somebody's gang was shooting at somebody's gang, and then somebody's gang didn't shoot back. That's your story? What's happening, Puff? King of the pedal.
Katt couldn't help but make a joke about this peculiar discovery. He begins with a flawless setup, Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil. There's not that much hashiness in the world.
It's one of those moments where you can't help but think, why did they even try that defense? I mean, 1,000 bottles of baby oil isn't something you can just explain away like buying toilet paper in bulk.
Shocking new allegations tonight in the case against hip-hop legend Sean Diddy Combs, one of the biggest and most influential names in the music industry.
Federal prosecutors accuse Diddy of using his power to physically and sexually abuse women over a 16-year period. Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges filed against him, including sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, kidnapping, and bribery.
So why all won't believe what Katt Williams just said about Diddy's arrest? The tea is out, and Katt isn't holding back this legal trouble after getting arrested in connection with a serious investigation. But leave it to Katt Williams because you know he's never afraid of speaking out, especially when it comes to other dark things that these celebs often do. So let's get into the crazy rant Katt Williams went on after hearing about Diddy's arrest. It was raw, it was unfiltered, and Katt spilled some wild details about the things he claims to have seen during Diddy's famous parties. Recently, Diddy was taken into custody in New York after a grand jury indictment.
We've been following this case closely. Sean Diddy Combs is spending his second night in federal detention after being denied bail. The charges against him very serious. Prosecutors say Combs ran an empire of sexual crimes, painting him as a danger to the community. Parties involving hardcore drugs, sex, forced illicit behavior, and a deep cover-up. The alleged mastermind, hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs. The grand jury indictment unsealed Tuesday morning in New York charges Combs of sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy, essentially using his media empire to facilitate a criminal enterprise.
That's right, the man behind a massive entertainment empire is now caught up in some serious legal trouble. Reports are saying that feds have been investigating Diddy for a while,
and Katt made sure everyone saw the ridiculousness in it.
Now, gathering information, and it all ended in this arrest. From what we know, it's not just about small-time offenses either. Diddy's facing allegations that go beyond what anyone might have expected. We're talking about potential ties to criminal activities. The arrest happened after a federal grand jury reviewed the evidence and gave the green light. If you thought this was just going to be a minor bump in Diddy's career, think again. The case is looking serious, with the feds making moves that hint at a long trial. And the investigation, well, it's been going on quietly. However, it's clear that the feds have been looking into Diddy's operations for months. We're hearing reports that his homes in LA and Miami were searched as part of this investigation, and when the feds start searching homes, you know they mean business. The authorities are building a big case against him, gathering evidence to tie him to multiple stuff. Now, if there's one person who's never afraid to throw his 2 cents into a situation, it's Katt Williams. And this time, when Diddy's arrest hit the news, Katt had a lot to say. Katt went off talking about how he wasn't surprised by the arrest. In fact, he claimed he has been aware of Diddy's behavior for years, especially those freak-off parties. According to Katt, those parties were not your average celebrity get-togethers. They were something else, and what happened behind closed doors was wild. Katt hinted that what the people see of Diddy is just a small part of the real story, and what goes on in private is much darker. And here's where it gets even crazier. Katt didn't stop at just mentioning the parties. He went on to make some serious allegations. Katt claimed that these parties weren't just about having fun. They were about control. He even said that Diddy had a way of manipulating people, using his influence to get people to do things they normally wouldn't. At one point in his rant, Katt even said, "If I can make a man do that, I can make him do anything." That's a bold statement, and it's left a lot of people wondering just what Katt has seen at these gatherings. But Katt's comments have stirred up even more speculation about what could be going on with Diddy behind the scenes. It's not the first time his name has been dragged into controversy, but with Katt speaking out so openly, it's adding fuel to fire. One of the wildest parts of Katt's rant was when he mentioned some of the things that allegedly went down at these parties. He didn't give full details, but he hinted that it had people who were not celebrities. Katt talked about how Diddy's influence over people in these settings was on another level, and that there were darker elements at play. He didn't name those folks, but the way he spoke made it clear he wasn't just making things up on the fly. He seemed to genuinely believe what he was saying. And it's not just the parties that Katt took issue with. In his rant, he also touched on how Diddy's career and public persona might not be what they seem. According to Katt, there's a lot more going on behind the scenes, and it's all catching up with Diddy now. This isn't the first time Katt Williams has gone after a major celebrity, but it's one of the most explosive rants.
The crowd erupted in laughter, and honestly, so did the internet. He goes on to mock Diddy's legal defense team, who claimed he bought the baby oil in bulk from Costco.
You talking about Mr. Brown? What
They.
They. Look at it. Kareem Akbar. That's right, the educated brother from the bank. He's the real head of the CMB.
Pat wasn't having it, and then Diddy's clueless lawyer chimed in, suggesting he probably picked it up at Costco. Costco quickly responded, "We don't even sell baby oil." It's one of those moments that makes you wonder why they even attempted that defense. After all, 1,000 bottles of baby oil isn't something you can just brush off like buying toilet paper in bulk.
At least if you in the ATL and a nigga doing drugs in the ATL, the nigga at least excuse himself, go to the bathroom or some shit. Niggas in Hollywood just do the drugs right in front of you and act like ain't shit happened. You in the middle of a goddamn meeting. Yeah, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the movie with you, and then we're gonna go back.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right there. It's on your nose, nigga. What?
Motherfuckers be gay in Hollywood, you never fucking expected. They be having these big ass mansion parties, and the mansion party, the whole mansion is a party, and then it's a separate party in the little rooms. I ain't been famous that goddamn long. I'm excited than a motherfucker to be at the mansion party. You be looking in all the goddamn rooms, and you fuck around and look in the wrong room and shit. Nigga, come here, come here. Is that two niggas kissing? Is one of them niggas Professor Ovi? He came out the closet, he came out the closet. Oh my God, a rubber.
He took to social media to poke fun at the whole situation, sharing a clip that was edited to make it look like Diddy was about to snitch on everyone. He captioned it, "Diddy about to snitch on everybody," accompanied by laughing emojis.
The disturbing new video appears to support some of the accusations of abuse against music mogul Sean Diddy Combs.
We want to warn you that this video you're about to see is extremely graphic. The surveillance footage that was captured inside of a Los Angeles hotel in 2016 allegedly shows Combs assaulting then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in a hallway. A now settled lawsuit filed by Ventura claimed that she was trying to leave the hotel after a drunken Combs punched her. The video appears to show Combs chasing her down the hall, throwing her to the ground, and then repeatedly kicking her. So far, there's been no comment from Combs or his attorney.
During an interview on Club Shay Shay, Katt dropped another bombshell. He claimed that he had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect his integrity. Why? Because, according to him, Diddy loves to party in ways that made Katt uncomfortable. Now I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no. You've got to tell him no. I did, Katt said during the interview.
It's truth or fake. Catalina Marchand de Abro is here in studio. Catalina, today's edition, you're discussing allegations about rapper and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs. Take us through some of the fake news that's been circulating regarding the case.
The P. Diddy case continues to develop after the now disgraced music mogul was arrested in September over serious accusations, including sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, and prostitution, as Diddy faces a new wave of over 120 new sexual assault allegations. This affair has also been accompanied by a flood of misinformation on social media, including Justin Bieber, who is at the heart of many speculations and conspiracy theories as to what happened at the beginning of his career when P. Diddy acted as Bieber's mentor and helped launch the pop star's career at the age of 15. Going viral on TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, you name it. This song that users say was released by Justin Bieber back in April and that has now resurfaced following P. Diddy's arrest in September. Here, viewed over 7 million times on this post on TikTok alone, but seen millions of times across all over the social media platforms. Let's take a short listen to this song that may sound like Justin Bieber. You can hear the lyrics of the song. Let's take a listen.
Didn't know that
So as you can see, the lyrics of the song allegedly include "Lost Myself at a Diddy party," where the song appears to make reference to allegations of sexual abuse and other misconduct at the P. Diddy residence.
Is there any way then to prove the veracity of the song, Catalina?
Well, a song that sounds like Justin Bieber, but the song is likely fake. Firstly, there's no concrete evidence to prove the existence of this song, including no official confirmation from credible sources or news outlets. This song does not even appear on Justin Bieber's
That's a huge claim, but coming from Katt, it's no surprise. He's always been one to speak up, even when it might ruffle a few feathers. And while Diddy's legal team is busy trying to get their defense together, Katt's over here turning the entire situation into one giant punchline.
Official catalog of music on his website. We put the song through an AI detection tool that determined that this song is actually likely to be AI generated. Additionally, for example, on this video that we just saw circulating on X, we found anomalies on the people's faces in the clip. You could see anomalies in the eyes, anomalies in the faces that don't even seem human, as well as what is allegedly P. Diddy's face. You can see anomalies in his thumb and his mouth. So all indications that this audio and video, of course, were generated using artificial intelligence. Yet another example of the downside of artificial intelligence, in this case for musicians and artists, as Bieber has yet to speak publicly about Diddy's arrest.
It does sound quite like Justin Bieber, Catalina. What are the other types of fake news that have been going around regarding the P. Diddy case?
Well, the other main claim going around the P. Diddy case is that Diddy's mansion has underground tunnels that some even say are linked to the Playboy mansion that is in the close vicinity. And this post, for example, seen over 9 million times on X, as this screenshot of an alleged CNN live broadcast is also going viral, saying that the underground tunnels were found at the home of the disgraced hip hop star. This CNN screenshot is, however, fabricated. It's already been debunked by Reuters, who contacted a CNN representative who said that this is a manipulated image and that this is not something CNN reported on. There are also no credible reports on the existence of these tunnels, although according to indictment documents during the March 2024 raids on Combs' LA and Miami mansions, investigators found narcotics, firearms, and the most disturbing find, 1,000 bottles of baby oil, a finding that has also been subject to fake news, including this AI viral video going around, seen over 17 million times on this post, that users claim to be federal agents finding the 1,000 bottles of baby oil in Diddy's home. And finally, with the elections coming up, this viral picture of Kamala Harris that allegedly resurfaced of her with P. Diddy. Here's actually the original photo posted by Getty Images, where you could see that she was actually posing with Montel Williams and his daughter in 2001. And most recently, there's also this fake list created using artificial intelligence, as well as you could see pointed out by X, allegedly of the P. Diddy accomplices. It includes names such as Jay-Z, Beyoncé, although this list was created using artificial intelligence. And even though this list is fake, the lawyer representing the victims in this case has recently declared that the names of accomplices that have not been revealed yet will shock the nation as we stand by for revelations.
Catalina, thank you so much for clearing all of that up for us. That's Catalina Marchand-Abreu joining us with tonight's Truth or Fake. Do stay with us. We'll be right back with more world news.